Today we're making calabacitas. This dish is traditionally made in the southwestern US and northern Mexico. Calabacita means squash in Spanish, so no surprise that one of the main ingredients is squash, along with corn and chiles, all ingredients that are native to the region. This is an excellent vegetarian filling for tacos, enchiladas, etc., and it would make a great addition to a barbecue or potluck. So find yourself some squash and let's get cooking. We'll start by assembling our ingredients. First of all, we have our three essentials, the calabacitas or squash, and that can be any kind of squash you have on hand or in abundance. Corn, this is about 2 cups of corn that I cut from 3 fresh ears of corn. Amounts are not exact and it doesn't have to be fresh. Fresh is great, but canned or frozen is fine too. And then our chiles, and I happen to have some Hatch green chiles, the New Mexico green chile. That's great if you get a hold of it. If you can't, Anaheims or poblanos are great too. And if you want to add a little bit more heat than those chiles have, you could use a jalapeno or a serrano or both. To those 3 essentials, I'm going to add tomatoes. Tomatoes are often used in calabacitas. The other usual addition or common addition that I'm not going to make is cheese, but if you'd like this cheesy, add some cheese in at the end of cooking or just sprinkle some on top when you serve it. All right, the other things I will use are aromatics, so onion and garlic, and some olive oil to cook, salt to season, and maybe a little bit of black pepper if I feel like it. I am going to start chopping and mincing, and we will meet back when we're ready to turn the heat on. The chopping, dicing, and mincing is done. Those squash were 2 pounds total, and that works out to 8 cups of 1/2 inch or centimeter cubes. Does it seem like a lot? Yes, it is, but squash is mainly water. This is going to cook way down. And again, these amounts are just to give you an idea of what I've got going on here. Vary this depending on how much you want to make, what you've got on hand, and what you like. All right, the aromatics are diced, so we have onion and we have about 1 tablespoon of olive oil that has heated until shimmering, and you can maybe hear a little bit of sizzling back here. You're going to hear a lot of sizzling when I put this onion in. I'm going to follow that closely by my peppers, which were also diced, not a fine dice, just something pretty smallish. And then after those 2 have been in the pot for, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, we'll add the minced garlic, and that was about 5 cloves of garlic. All right, here we go. We will give those a good stir. Add a little olive oil if it seems necessary, and just cook that for maybe 4 minutes or so until we start to get kind of a nice smell from the onion and the pepper, and they begin to go translucent. Now that the onion and pepper is starting to get just a little bit translucent in places, we will add the minced garlic. Give it a stir and let that cook for about another 30 seconds. Garlic burns quickly, so we'll add other ingredients shortly thereafter. And in the meantime, we'll salt that just a little bit, like so, and that just helps to seal in some of the juices of the onion and pepper. All right, now here goes our squash, our calabacita, and all that in there. Oh, that last piece too. Give it a really good stir. and you will let that start to cook down a bit, release some of the water in that squash. And then once that has happened, we'll stir periodically. We will salt this again and add some more seasoning, but we'll check back with it in a couple of minutes to do so. Our squash has been sizzling away for a few minutes now. It's started to cook down a bit. It's still got a ways to go, but now's a good time to season it. So we will give that some more salt. And forgive me for not measuring the salt. I'm gonna say we'll end up with about half a teaspoon altogether of kosher salt, so a little bit less if you're using table salt. But I do just add a bit as I go, and after a little while I'll start tasting it to decide if I want it to be saltier. Easy enough to add more, tough to take it out. So we'll give that a few more shakes, and we'll probably add a little bit more in a couple minutes. Give it a stir. Add some black pepper, some freshly ground black pepper. All right. And I did forget to tell you about one other seasoning that I do usually use, and that's ground cumin. If you have it, definitely use that. If you don't have it on hand, don't worry about it. You could also add oregano if you'd like, fresh or ground, up to you, or fresh or dried rather. So this is going to be about, I'd say, between 1/4 and 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. And again, I'll taste this and adjust the seasonings. Different squash may taste a bit different. Definitely different peppers will give you a different flavor profile. All right, so I'm gonna let that cook down a bit more and check back with it in another few minutes. As you can hear and see, our squash is continuing to cook down, and I did go ahead and give that another round of seasoning while I stirred. Now it is time to add tomatoes. So these are 2, medium-sized fresh tomatoes, and their juices. We'll try and get all that into the pot and not onto the stove. Oh, like so. I'm gonna stir those in. And what will happen, hopefully, is these tomatoes will kind of break down into a little bit of a sauce with the juices from the squash. And we're gonna let that cook for, another maybe 3 or 4 minutes and check back again. After about 4 more minutes of cooking, the tomatoes have broken down and formed a bit of a sauce with the liquid from the zucchini. So it is time to add our last ingredient, and that's the fresh corn. And corn, especially fresh corn, doesn't really need much cooking time. It really just needs to heat through. So we're going to give that a stir and another 2 or 3 minutes. And here we have it. Our calabacitas are done. We hope that you give this a try and you check back soon for another recipe.